will do well together. If it's in my power, we will do very well. I know how to be an excellent queen. You'll see.
As a Scottish writer, I was aware that we had no equivalent to the kind of history cycles that Shakespeare created for English history. Not that I'm comparing myself to Shakespeare, but I do think there's an awful lot of how people understand medieval English history that comes from those plays, whether they've seen them or not. And that means that just a timeline and basic facts about those centuries are part of the national consciousness in England. And in Scotland, we tend to, we know certain historical events, but others are a complete mystery to us. And I thought, well, whatever happens, it would be really nice to try and get a broader audience knowing a bit more about their own history.
Is there anything that you want to know, anything you want to ask me?
Why were you England's prisoner? I've never really understood.
It was my brother, my older brother was... Well, he was sick. He died. I was only 10, so they sent me to France to keep me safe, but I was captured by English pirates.
But why weren't you safe in Scotland?
Because those were troubled times. It'll be different now.
I think one of the challenges inherent in staging a play that's based on a period of history is that you're in dialogue not only with the writer's words, but also a period of time of which there may or may not be reliable sources. So the primary sources for this 15th century period of political history in Scotland are relatively meagre, but you do feel a responsibility for telling the truth about certain events and how they play out. But at the same time, the writer and in the room with the actors, you are embellishing, you're inventing, you're really creating the how and the why around the what happened. So it's a balancing act of how much you're sticking to the truth as known and how much you're creating to join the dots and to make a piece of dramatic entertainment.
Oh, I couldn't believe it when I saw you. I couldn't believe it.
No.
It was you.
It is me.
No, I mean, you're the woman I saw in my dream out my window. In my poem.
Oh, it's a lovely poem.
You've read it.
I mean, I read, of course, but my ladies say it's a wonderful poem. I will read it soon. The box you sent it in is beautiful, really beautiful.
You should read the poem.
Of course.
Some feelings, some things can't be conversational. Do you understand?
I'm really sorry.
No.
Rona writes so playful and witty and wise, and all the dialogues are so... It was the kind of play that you know, I wanted to see every scene, and I wanted to do them.
Meg, my woman, says you don't even have apple trees in Scotland.
Well, we have apples. Small ones maybe, but of course we will take a beautiful English apple tree.
I can watch the birds in that.
See, I love that. I love watching the birds.
Well, that will be something we can do together.
People in a bygone time, so some 600 years ago, felt the same, behaved the same, had the same conflicts of relationship with each other, had the same had the same kind of loves and affections and hatreds, and but the context was different.
Do you have a mistress at the moment?
No.
Because I'll make sure I never embarrass you.
It's only you. Jesus.
You're very kind.
Can't be anyone but you.
That's so kind. What a lovely thing to say. I'm sure we'll get on.
It feels almost like a 30s black comedy, or something rather dark and brittle, but at the heart of it you have two people who both love and hate each other in equal measure.
I like your face.
Do you?
Yes. It's a nice face, much nicer than your portrait.
I think what the plays tell us about Scotland is that our history is an awful lot more complex than we might think, that our present is made of our past, and that is a lot closer than we like to imagine it, and the same themes have actually been playing out over several centuries. So at this particular moment in time, I think that's quite an interesting thing to direct an audience's attention towards.
Are you unhappy?
No, of course not. It's exciting,
What is?
being married.